on EBT.
Aircraft is a supersonic aircraft. Lots of energy as he pulls back there. You can see that very distinctive delta shape. As the airspeed drops down, by selecting the position of a lever in the cockpit, Squadron Leader Steve Cochran will position the wings once again into the forward or slower speed position. But you can clearly see them tucked back close to the tail in the high-speed delta-shaped configuration. Once again, if you missed it the last time, get your cameras ready once again for the final airport. Tornado! There you can clearly see the delta shape, and you see the wings moving forward even as we speak. Afterburners not lit on that pass as he pulled the power back, decelerating the aircraft in that high G turn. Of course, when you load up the wings like that with high Gs in a steep turn, it puts a lot of drag on the wing and slows the aircraft down very, very rapidly. He has slowed the aircraft down to the gear extension speed. He has extended the landing gear. The wing flaps will be extended. The leading edge flaps extended, giving those very tiny little narrow wings high lift at slow speed, so he can be touching down at the slowest possible speed, about 135 miles per hour at touchdown. And after he touches down and flies the nose down to the runway, he's going to demonstrate sport aircraft, airliner type aircraft, doing a reverse thrust where the thrust of the engines is deflected in a forward position to help slow the aircraft down. The jet thrust normally goes straight out the back of the engine, providing thrust to move the aircraft through the air. But after landing, you don't need all that forward thrust. It'd be nice to be able to use that power to help slow the airplane down and so you can all that energy onto the brakes. Well, as he rolls past in the touchdown, take a look at the tailpipes of those jet engines, because you're going to see those doors extended out behind the tailpipes, deflecting the thrust in an upward, downward, and slightly forward direction to help slow down the RAF Tornado. Built by Panavia, Great Britain, Italy, and Germany. You see the thrust reversers deployed and extending up out of the top of the wing. Speed brakes are spoilers to help dump all the lift off the wing. The RAF Tornado is going to be taxiing clear of the runway and taxiing past you. Of course, they won't be able to hear you, but give them a wave as they taxi by. Squadron Leader Steve Cochran and Squadron Leader Dave Ledward of 2 Squadron as they taxi by in the Panavia Royal Air Force Tornado. More about the fine sponsors that we have without their support. Let's hear about some more of them.
Yes. Now, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, we do have VIP chalets in our it's a nice little treat for them. What Shell has done is they've said, no, we'll market
Okay, that is Ian Rose driving down towards Show Center Line right now over 300 miles an hour in the fabulous Sukhoi Su-26, climbing straight vertically and rolling that aircraft, using the flight controls to roll that aircraft and stopping crisply on the Show Center Line. We're looking at the top of the airplane as he pivots the airplane about itself in a beautiful hammerhead turn right on over the top of the hammerhead and diving straight down towards Show Center Line. 2.5 rolls on the vertical as he dives down towards Show Center Line once again, throttling back on that powerful 360 horsepower engine so that the speed doesn't go too fast as he dives down, because another 12 G pull. He started 1/2 of a loop on the inside. Now he's pushing the nose over the top. That's negative G's. He went from 8 positive G's to 6 negative G's. Now a little bit of speed builds up, full power comes on, and watch what he does once again. Back on the stick, yet again, more positive G's on that airplane as he completes the vertical S. 3 times, 3 half loops, one on top of the other. Incredible climbing performance in the Sukhoi Su-26. This aircraft built and designed for one purpose in mind, and that's to win world aerobatic competitions. Skillfully flown by Ian Broom, who first learned to fly at the age of 7. Now distributed through Pompano Air Center at Pompano Beach, Florida, those sole worldwide distributors of the Sukhoi Su-26. Now climbing on a 45-degree line, completing 3 points of a 4-point hesitation roll to the left. Now 2 points of 4, back to the right. Now watch the tail of the airplane as he sets up almost, now holding the aircraft in the inverted position at this time and pulling through right at show center. Out in front of you, you see the 2-place Sukhoi Su-29, flown by his partner Buddy Kohler and also Aoki Gray. Flying the 2-place Su-29. Beautiful vertical climb by Ian on the top. A very scientifically named maneuver as he rolls through in the Humpty Bump and completes a full loop starting down from the vertical. Now as he climbs vertically once again, he's going to continue another looping maneuver. That loop on the left side of the vertical climb, an inside loop, this one outside. Now he's pushing that nose over. Those negative G-forces are going to try to force him right outside the cockpit. Pushing the nose on up the horizon once again, completing 2 loops from the vertical. That's another figure 8 lying on its side, and flown by Ian Broom in the Su-26. Capping off at the top, flying straight away off the top, and after the airspeed drops almost to 0. Tremendous power. And rudder authority on this airplane as he continues on up over the top. The twisting force of that engine wanting to twist that airplane off the heading, but now with the powerful rudder authority available to Ian Broom as he dives down on the vertical line. 12-2 twist roll back to a 45-degree climbing line. Now rolling and rolling that aircraft. Snap roll. The aircraft fully stalled as he continues continuous snap rolls on that aircraft. So many I can't even count them. In order to do that snap roll, he quickly stalls the airplane by pulling back sharply on the stick, kicks in one rudder, and the airplane yaws. One wing is flying, the other one is not. The one that's flying just flies the aircraft right around the longitudinal axis in that very, very fast roll rate. The snap roll, fully stalled. Airspeed bleeds off quite a bit in that fully stalled maneuver, but not with that 360 horsepower engine. He's able to continue the snap rolls and still another hesitation roll. 4. 5/8 of a loop completed. He dives down on a 45-degree line. Back to full vertical once again. Full power coming on. 360 horses pulling him straight vertically. Now watch carefully as the airspeed drops to 0 and the airplane slides backwards through its own length. Now pushing all the way through to the inverted position, straight through as he pendulums through. Tremendous flight control authority to be able to do that. Now watch the tail as it comes up over the top of the lump shamrock. Climbing from a 45-degree line, the tail on up over and diving down now on the vertical line. Putting the aircraft in whatever attitude and position he chooses with all that crisp rudder authority in this high-tech composite aircraft. Even the propeller is a composite material, tremendous strength with very, very light weight. Now starting a rolling maneuver as he continues to climb, stopping the roll to the right and back to the left. Pulling the nose through in the Humpty Bump as he dives down towards show center line, pulling it through, completing 3/4 of a loop and right on back to the vertical once again. On up over the top of another inside loop, stopping on the top. Now setting up his 45-degree down line after completing 5/8 of a loop. Listen to the sound of that round engine. Quarter roll as he continues to fly the aircraft sideways in the Sukhoi slide. First to the left, now around to the right. And holding the aircraft in knife edge flight momentarily before he rolls another quarter roll and transitions to the 45-degree diving down.
So Jack, what are you going to do with this? Voiceovers? No, we're at Air Expo 94. We're coming up on the U2. We're going to be performing right on the runway.
Bono.
Bono.
Larry Mullen Jr.,
Larry Mullen,
Adam Clayton,
and Dave Evans. Air Expo 94 brought to you by us.
Beautiful crisp vertical line now at a 4-point position along. Quarter roll showing us the bottom of the airplane off with a very, very high rate of change. In transitioning from very, very high positive G-forces to high negative G-forces, it takes tremendous physical strength and endurance on the part of the pilot. Here's the Lumpshabak in the vertical climb, the tail on up over the top of the canopy as he pulls through, completing the Lumpshabak at the top of the vertical climb. And that's the kind of maneuvering that you've seen Ian Groove flying. Very, very high positive Gs, quickly negative Gs. But just transitioning back from his feet to his head and back again.
All of these stunts are making me
Aircraft
ill.
flown by Buddy Kohler.
We're at Quonset
and by
Point, John Horrigan,
Gray.
joined by Pete McGowan for
I'd say
today's
Ian
air show.
Groove has
Beautiful
lots
June
of
day, the
altitude
first
now
weekend in
to
June.
set up
It's
for
the
his
50th
landing.
anniversary
Of course,
commemorating
with vertical
D-Day.
climb performance such as
So
he
we're going to be
has
down here. We've
in the
got a
SU-26.
bunch
You
of
can
jumping
expect after a
teams,
climb like that with lots of speed, he's going to have lots and
a
lots
bunch
of
of Canadians are
altitude.
here.
Talk to him about
Up
this
here, my
aircraft.
face is up here. There's
As
a
he
couple of
taxis
Canadians.
in,
There's
you
a
may notice
representative
up
from the
near
Canadian
the
stunt team,
cowling
Snowbirds.
that the
There's
temperatures
no
of the cylinders
demonstration
are
team
controlled
per
by
se here
shutters
today. The
that appear
Thunderbirds
in
and the
that
Blue
opening
Angels aren't
around
here. Will you shut up?
the spinner of the propeller.
Also, we have an A-10 Thunderbolt.
Because, of course, in aerobatics, you're going from full power on the engine,
the Red
achieving its
Devils and the
maximum
U.S.
cylinder
Navy
head temperature, and then all the way back to
jumpers. And
idle
we have
in
a
the
Harrier
dives.
jump jet, and of course the U-2 and an F-18.
Tremendous temperature ranges, and that's very, very tough on the metallurgy of the cylinders.
Right. From Quonset Point, it's Air Expo 94. I'm Peter, that's John. It's a new show, new situation brought to you by John Horrigan. And I help, that's why I'm here. It'd be nothing without me, folks.
Well, it's very good. I was just noticing with my little watch on my wrist here that it is lunchtime. It's lunchtime. I was just telling the folks they could grab some food. Well, what I wanted to tell... As we mentioned, the little black dots are getting a little larger. Cover up the ears of the kids because those are two F-16 Fighting Falcons of the United States Air Force. They're coming in at a high rate of noise. They're going to make this high-speed two-shift formation pass. They're going to be setting up for a landing, and you will see them in just a moment. The F-16 Fighting Falcon. F-16 Fighting Falcons, Syracuse. Yes, it accelerates while climbing straight up. Back in front of you once again from right to left, the F-16 Fighting Falcon. Variable in diameter. They can
the tail cone of the jet engine. Because when they light that afterburner, the thrust goes up by 50% or more, but also the temperature goes way, way up, as well as the fuel consumption rate. But the temperature increases tremendously. So in order to keep the temperature down so that it doesn't melt the metal parts of the tail cone, those nozzles will open up slightly. Well, when they open up slightly, and it makes that hole bigger, the thrust that comes out the back is actually reduced very slightly. So without using the afterburner and getting maximum thrust, they close down those nozzles, as you saw. The lead aircraft was not using afterburner. He had the nozzles closed down. As you make that hole smaller, the thrust goes up. But the temperature does also. So it's a nice balance, and that's why they open and close that to vary the amount of thrust versus the temperature inside. However, when the afterburner is open, hey, baby, it's all the way open. Lots of power and thrust coming out. Nice slow speed pass this time as you come by. Picture cameras on the boys from Syracuse, the F-16s of the New York Air National Guard.
In Syracuse. Well, that's something we all have to pass through once in our lives, I guess, as we all sooner or later have to get through Syracuse. As I was telling you about.
It's the year of 94, and to celebrate our radio sponsor, 94 HJY, has put together a $94,000 summer. Giveaways of sports cars, jet boats, thousands of free concert tickets, and more. Listen to win your share every day on Southern New England's original home of rock and roll, 94 HJY. And again, as our F-16s touch down, I would remind you that it is lunchtime. We've got lots of action going on. There's all these booths out here are manned by local people, so your money stays right here in New England. So get out there and grab yourself a hamburger. I'm seeing pizza, ice cream, drinks, and there's even, I just spotted it.
Oh, Dell's Lemonade.
Dell's Lemonade.
Oh, that's unbelievably good lemonade.
And you know what? We got to drink lemonade today, Tom, because we are well-behaved little announcer people.
Absolutely.
But when the show is over,
when the show is over, out on the runway in preparation for takeoff. You see a blue Air Force vehicle moving around the runway in front of them, the support crew for the... We would do that as he's flying. Tremendous long liner-type wings on this aircraft, because that's what he does. He gets up high and slow and just stays there and takes lots of pictures. At the control, Captain Ken Montino. Full power on the J-75s and this on a very short climb. Summers up here in Rhode Island. As a kid, his father was stationed at Quonset. His grandparents live in Wakefield. It was this reconnaissance aircraft. As you may have noticed just after liftoff, the pogo gear, the landing gear that is temporary just for takeoff, it attaches out on the wingtips. You saw them fall away. The truck now moving down the runway, having picked up the pogo gear and clearing the runway of any other debris. That's a standard takeoff, which the Dragon Lady uses to climb to maximum altitudes. You saw the big wide wings on this, a 105-foot wingspan on this aircraft.
Its empty weight, just under 20,000 pounds. It has a maximum gross weight of over 40,000 pounds. The J75 engine on board, capable of 17,000 pounds of thrust. This is the second generation U-2, built in 1980. Some 40% larger than the original aircraft that was flown by... He's going to be returning for his glider Whisper Pass. He'll be traveling at a speed of about 240 miles an hour. The aircraft's shaped like a glider, and that's its mission, to climb to cruise up to an altitude over 70,000 feet. Some reports say the glider passed. The power will be back all the way to idle as he comes by in this very, very quiet Whisper Pass at 240 miles an hour. Let's all quiet down now and listen to the Whisper Pass of the U-2 Dragon Lady. Now there's some stealth technology for you, low reflectivity paint on the U-2 Dragon Lady. Comes by in the Whisper Pass. Captain Ken Montino from Baltimore, Maryland. 5 power once again. He'll turn the aircraft around and bring it back in front of you for a nice profile view, highlighting the 105-foot high aspect ratio wings, very high lift, low speed wings. Again, the airplane cruises at 450 knots. True airspeed, that's about 71% speed of sound, up at its very, very high altitudes. It carries enough fuel to stay up for over 9 hours unrefueled. Its range over 3,000 miles.
Francis Gary Powers was shot down over Russia in one of these planes.
To large turning radius to turn the aircraft around, even though he's traveling at a fairly slow speed. Of course, the higher the speed, the bigger the turn, but with an aircraft like the U-2, it takes about 40 acres to turn that thing around, even when he's traveling at a slow speed. It would normally have a fairly... He'll have lots of time before he comes up here in the U-2 Dragon Lady. As he comes by for a photo pass, we get a profile view of the airplane. Currently operating worldwide at such locations as the Republic of Korea, the United Kingdom, Saudi Arabia, and other sensitive classified theaters. The U-2 Dragon Lady, being flown by Captain Ken Montino from Baltimore, Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, get a good view now of the 105-foot wingspan of the U-2 Dragon Lady. Captain Montino is going to continue this turnaround and bring the aircraft down for a low approach, simulating a landing. He's not going to land on this particular approach, but you will see afterwards.
Hello, frequent flyers. This is John Horrigan, producer of Air Expo. You're watching the 1994 Air Exhibition at Quonset Point Naval Air Station in Rhode Island. This is the U-2 flying. Next time you see me, give me your money or your daughter.
A very small tail wheel will extend out the rear of the aircraft. Here's the rear of the aircraft. There you can see the one main landing gear extended. As our Navy FA-18 Hornet taxis down the runway, ready for his flight demonstration. Yes, I said tail wheel on the U-2. It's the only tail dragger aircraft left in the Air Force. For conventional gear on this old average dollar, transfer gear, he's not going to land on this one because once he's down, he's down. He's in the support vehicle to follow up. You're still turning at the flaps, extend it down. Give it even slower, like capability in the U-2. Landing gear extended. Take a good close look as he comes by. And the landing configuration of the U-2 Dragon Lady. The U-2R, second generation of the U-2. You can clearly see the big landing gear and the tail wheel, the only tail dragger left in the Air Force.
a U-2. Toughest airplane in the arsenal to land, because it's the tail dragger, is the U-2 Dragon Lady. Now, Dan McLaren, sound engineer supreme, air show announcer. We're going to see if we can get Captain Craig Roebuck on the radio as he talks down and talks to Captain Ken Montino, the pilot of the U-2 Dragon Lady, and talks him through his landing sequence. As he touches down and begins to slow down and lose flight control authority, they will need to be there to help stabilize the aircraft, stabilize the wings. Of course, you saw they use those outrigger pogo gear before and at the takeoff, those being jettisoned just after liftoff. There's the truck pulling out toward the aircraft as it comes down the runway. Down on the tail wheel first, all the aircraft in the inventory to do that.